Hello, welcome to the next video. This is just a short little video on cell diversity. We just got done taking a look at the anatomy and the parts and pieces of a cell. So as we transition into cell function and histology, we are going to just take a look at the different classifications and groupings of cells that we're going to find in the body. All right, so the first one are cells that connect body parts. So we're going to see a lot of these in our category of connective tissue. So I've just given some picture examples. Blood is a type of connective tissue, so I've shown some red blood cells. This here, let me get my little pointer. This is a close-up view in a microscope of a tendon or a ligament. This is called dense connective tissue. And then this is a micrograph. These cells here are cells that are these little, let's see, that little purple line right there. That's the nucleus of one of those cells. You're just seeing them in a different type of microscope image. So those are called fibroblasts. And what they do is we have them right here. They produce these fibers that make connective tissues strong. So your tendons, your ligaments, cartilage, bone usually have a lot of these fibers in them, produced by fibroblasts. Your blood is a slightly different kind of connective tissue. It's called a fluid connective tissue. It does have fibers, but not like the strong collagen fibers that you might see in bone and tendons and stuff. You'll learn more about blood in your Bio 122 class next term. All right, the next group of cells are cells that cover and line body organs. So these are going to be in our tissue group of epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue is your superficial lining, like your skin. It lines your digestive tract, your respiratory tract, your urinary tract, your reproductive tracts. It lines your blood vessels, it lines your heart, it lines your stomach, all of your hollow organs. And their coverings are lined by epithelial tissue. So the micrograph pictures that I have here, this is a picture of your skin. It's called stratified squamous epithelium. This is a picture down here from your kidney. Okay. This is a picture of your digestive tract. It could be from your stomach or your small intestine. And this is a picture of the tissue that lines your trachea. Right? So when we're taking a look at the structure of these tissues, which again, we'll see these towards the end of chapter 3 also. So think about your skin. It's dry. It needs to be thick. It's got to be protective. And so we have this nice, big, thick layer of dried, dead, keratinized cells that is going to do a really good job of protecting your underlying tissues. But if we take a look at the digestive system, we only have a single layer of column-shaped cells, which is really good for absorption. So let's say you have sugar in your food that you just ate. We need to be able to absorb that through the cells into the bloodstream. So we don't want a big, thick layer of multiple cells. We just want a single layer of cells that do a really good job of absorbing at that particular location. We certainly wouldn't want those digestive cells to be on our skin because they would offer no protection for us. So there's that reflection of the structure and function relationship. All right, the next group is cells that move organs or body parts, and this is our muscle tissue. So muscle tissue, there's 3 types. So I've given you examples of all 3. So this first type is called skeletal. So skeletal muscle tissue is found in the muscles that attach to your bones, right? Your muscles, these are what you can control, you consciously control. This over here is called cardiac muscle, and as you might guess, it is only found in the heart. It makes up your heart. The walls of your heart are made up of cardiac muscle. And then this example down here is called smooth muscle. Smooth muscle is found in the walls of your hollow organs. So think blood vessels, stomach, small intestine, urinary bladder. There's probably some other ones I can't think of. So skeletal muscle connected to your skeleton, cardiac muscle found in your heart, smooth muscle found along your blood vessels, hollow organs. Okay. The next group are cells that store nutrients. So the primary cells that do this are called adipocytes or adipose cells. Right, so adipose means fat and cyte means cell. So these are fat storing cells, and there's nothing much to them except a big lipid droplet, and the nucleus and the organelles and everything else is squished off to the side. Adipose tissue is a type of connective tissue, but it's specialized to store fat. So this picture here with the fat cells shows how your body changes when you gain weight, whether you are never overweight or obese to begin with, but as your body needs a place to store your excess adipose, your excess fat, you make more cells. There are stem cells located in your fat tissues that allow you to make more cells. But then let's say you're going to lose some of that weight. You lose weight, but you don't lose cells. They just get smaller. You're using up all of that fuel in the fat stores. And so you have the same amount of cells you had when you were large. And then when you lose weight, you lose the volume of those cells, but you don't lose the number of cells. So that's why, unfortunately, a lot of people who are overweight, when they lose weight, it's really easy to put that weight back on because your body's like, hey, I have all these cells. They can store as much fat as you need. And then that's kind of how you gain the weight back. All right, the next one is cells that fight disease. So these are your immune cells, and these are going to be part of your blood, which is part of your connective tissue, if we're going to put it in one of those 4 categories. But they really are unique in that they have some really cool properties. Some of them are phagocytic, like this guy right here. Phagocytic means to eat other cells. So phage or phago means to eat. And there's that cyte word again. Phago means to eat, cyte means cell. So a phagocyte or a macrophage are cells that can consume and gobble up dead cells or bacterial cells. So that's what we see here and here. They're just 2 types of cells, those images that show that they're consuming little bacteria, those little hot dog looking things. And then here's a light micrograph of what's called a lymphocyte, which are your specific immune cells. So if you've ever heard of T cells or B cells before, those are in this category of lymphocytes. And again, you'll learn more about that in the blood cardiovascular system chapter in 122. Okay. The next group of cells are cells that gather information and control body functions. These are cells that fit into the last category, that 4th category of tissues, which is nervous tissue. So these are your neurons. So I've shown a couple different micrographic pictures of neurons. This is what makes up your brain, your spinal cord, and all your peripheral nerves. So they send signals via electrical impulses. We'll be learning about that in chapter 7 this term. So these are your neurons, nerve cells. All right, so here we are to the last group of cell diversity. These are cells that are for reproduction. So this is your egg and sperm cells. So they don't really fit into those other categories. They're not epithelial or connective or nervous or muscle tissue. They just kind of are in their own classification. So the pictures that I've included here, we have sperm with the little head and the tail. On that micrograph, here is an egg sitting in a follicle. This big kind of house sits in the woman's ovaries as a follicle. And then this is a scanning electron micrograph of an egg with a sperm. You can kind of see for size comparison. The human egg is the largest cell in the body by volume, and the sperm is one of the smallest cells by volume. So it's kind of ironic that those 2 are going to come together to create new life. All right, so this is just our little mini lesson on cell diversity, and then we're going to jump into cell function. We just got done covering the parts and pieces of a cell. Now we're going to take a look at the functions of a cell, and then we'll wrap up with histology. Okay, bye.